We had a client that we worked with, and she was really struggling with profitability. She kept raising tuition. She actually did 3 tuition increases within a 15-month cycle, and she still could not catch up. So I helped her work with our 6 money leaks in schools, and she only used 3 of the 6 money leaks and cut her expenses by 50%. 50. She did not fire anyone. She did not slash any of her programs, and she did not work more hours. Again, the 6 money leaks are not hacks or spreadsheets. These are patterns. They are small decisions that feel so normal that your school does, but they quietly drain your school's profit. So if you've ever wondered why you're working so hard, but still not seeing the return, this is your first step to clarity. Click the link in the show notes and find out what it's actually costing you. Welcome to the Schools of Excellence podcast, a place for insightful conversations about building sustainable schools of excellence. Join me each week as we explore the importance of leading with your values, creating impact, and leaving a lasting legacy. My goal on the show is to provide you with clarity, elevate your mindset, and equip you with practical strategies and inspiration. I'm Chanie, a proud mother of 4, a former New Yorker, now savoring sunny Florida vibes. With a professional journey spanning 18 years across all levels of school leadership, I bring nuanced insight that delve into the intricate details of running a center, as well as the broader visionary aspects of leadership. Thank you for joining me for this conversation. Let's build a legacy of excellence together.
I'm Amy Retchless, and I have Miss Amy's Neighborhood Preschool in Frederick, Colorado.
Amy, how many children do you currently have enrolled in the school?
We have about 45 children right now.
Yeah, so a little bit of a smaller center in comparison, let's say, to some other schools that have, several hundred children or multiple locations.
Yeah, we only have 2 classrooms and they can have 15 children at a time. We run an AM and a PM session. So yeah, a little bit smaller, not the 150 children running around this community.
But I'm so excited about this conversation because I think it's so important to give voice to the schools that are running all across this country that are a little smaller in size, but still have tremendous impact on the children that they serve and on the staff. So that's why I'm so excited for today's conversation. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Where did you first hear about us and what kind of prompted you to get on a call with me?
It was 2021 and we opened in July of 2020. So fresh out to having a center and a staff. And previously I was just in school districts where you have a little more direction from up top, and coming out on my own. Beth Cannon did a online group thing that I actually signed up for and finished.
I love that.
I normally it would be sign up. It was free. So it was like, I'll watch it or not. And then I had notes on all the speakers and yours stood out. So I was like, I really need to look at this, Chanie. And so I got onto your website and I think I downloaded a couple of scripts from you. And then it said please take the test or take the assessment if you'd like to know more information. I was like, I think I need to do this. So I filled it out, and then my celebrity moment. You said that you would be reaching out, and I was like, oh my goodness, the owner of the company herself is talking to me, not a secretary, not somebody underneath her. She is talking to me. And I was so excited. So we chatted and I explained, I was juggling the owner hat, the director hat, a teacher hat, because I was still in the classroom at that time. And I decided to sign up. And I think I signed up in February. And then you offered that summit event in Boca Raton. And I looked at my husband and I said, I think I need to go. And so we went, and I was just 100% overwhelmed at that point. I'm not sure I heard or took to heart necessarily anything that you truly said at that time, but I was making so many connections and actually talking to other people that were in my situation that I was happy with that, I didn't come home with a solid, understanding of the bridge or anything, but I had made friends and I knew I was in the right group. So yeah, that's how I found you.
And since then, you've been to multiple of our smaller retreats, which we run now, just 12 to 15 women. And I know that's been a real highlight for you. So let's
before we dive into some of the retreats, I'd love to kick off with one of the big principles of schools of excellence is really understanding how our time is reflective of everything that goes on in the company, in our home, and all of that. And I would love for you to share, how is your perspective on time and how you really work with time in your center shifted since working in the company?
Not running myself ragged and thinking that I'm actually going to catch up and be ahead, or everything's going to be done on my list, or all my ducks are going to be in the row. Like, there's hiccups that are going to happen, and allowing myself time and space to pause and think about what's happened, and then decide what I need to address or not address, and how I can actually truly help my staff, my parents, the children, than just jumping in and putting that fire out and not allowing any growth to happen. I would say so, just pausing. And frequently I don't take my computer home during the week. I leave it at school, and I rarely come back to the school on weekends to get extra work done. Like, it's done while I'm here, and that's the time that I spend. And then when I go home, that's my home time. And things
Yeah.
come up and I address them. But if it's not, earth shattering, it's like, okay, that's going to wait till Monday.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the practical things that you implemented? Because to go from a place of, working all the time, constantly feeling like you need to catch up, working on the weekends, pulling your laptop home, all of those things, to not doing all those things, it's not a light switch. There's an arc that kind of goes there. And when you think about some of the things that you've implemented, what are some of those mile markers along
Gosh.
the way
Yeah.
that have brought you to where you are?
Yeah. So definitely I had to do some work initially on my boundaries. And I 100% had very weak boundaries when we first started this journey. And now, they fluctuate. They're never in one spot forever. Like, they go healthy week, needing some attention, but I had to set some boundaries and discernment, deciding what really needed my attention at that moment, then what I could let go. And then some of the relational, like intelligence stuff and things like that, but more on the side of not being fearful of asking for what I need, or fearful of telling my staff, I've noticed this and I think we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I would say those are probably the biggest
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the leadership and culture and the way that you connect with staff. So there's a lot of buzzwords where we hear already now, people are starting to understand that culture is not a ping pong table or a gift card or that kind of thing. Culture is how we connect with each other. What are the standards, how we communicate, all of those things. How have you really shifted your culture and relationship with your staff? What are some of the things that you've done?
Well, it's taken me a while, but I'm not their best friend anymore. Um,
Can we just pause on that thing for a second and dive deep there, and then we'll go to some of the other things?
Yeah, like, I was just so afraid of not being liked, and if I called them out on something, or if we had to have a difficult conversation, it was the fear of them not liking me and looking for that external validation that I knew what I was doing, that
Mm,
controlled so much of what I was doing with my staff. And I also feel like by being so fearful and not doing things and just running in and being the firefighter and putting their fires out, I also was taking away their ability and to do it. And I was also kind of sending them a message of, I don't trust you to do this correctly, so I'm going to do it for you. And so I've gotten very clear on expectations and telling them, you guys know, like, for the most part, our staff has been together for the last 5 years. We only have one new teacher this year. So they've watched me, they've heard my conversations, they've seen me interact with the children. And it's like, you guys know, you've seen it, you've heard it. I trust you, you can do it. And so they've gotten much better at just handling things, even parents, where they're not, oh, I'm not going to take that question, I'm just going to send it to Amy. They can do it now. And so I feel like that's been, and it was probably me just giving them that message that I trust you, you know what to do. Yeah.
let's dive a little deeper here, because I
Right.
think I trust you can sometimes mean so many different things. I think before we trust the staff, we have to trust ourselves that it's okay.
Right.
So, and I know this has been part of, the journey as well. So how, and I know we can never pin it on one specific incident or one specific strategy because learning, change isn't linear in that way, but how have you slowly cultivated this unshakable self-trust in yourself? Because, and I just want to add to this thing here for, whoever's listening here as well, is that there were moments like, because I check in with all the members and, see how you guys are doing and all of that. And there were these beautiful moments where you were like, I'm just going quiet for a little bit. I'm internal reflection. I'm not, consuming anything right now. And I loved when I saw that, when I read that, because it was like, wow, she's really checking in and knowing what she needs and
Right.
respecting that and honoring that. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I feel like it's been in the last probably 9 months that I've had this shift. And I think I know I was burning myself out trying to be everything to the center. And that last retreat that we went to, just that, I don't know, that time away and my my roommates that trip really helped me think about it as well. But just like I'm out here, I've been out here on my own. I'm no one else is above me. Like it all falls on me. And just knowing that I have kept going for 5 years, I am valued in the community. Families seek me out all the time, and just realizing I'm in the arena. I'm going to get knocked down, but I'm in the arena and I need to step up to that plate. And so I have stopped doing a lot of things and taking a lot of time for myself. I also meditate all the time. Morning, noon, right before this call, just that quiet time to listen to myself and know that we're all doing our best. And when we know better, we do better. And just, yeah. So I feel like myself being more comfortable in that has also had that ripple effect onto my staff.
Yeah.
Like they have stepped up to the plate in ways that I didn't ask, but they're now doing those things as well. So it's like, okay. And I feel like that stress.
No. This is great. This is
Yeah.
great. So two retreats ago was when we introduced meditation, and I think
Right.
that's when you had started to incorporate it in your life. And so I really want to unpack this because this is an interesting conversation. How we hear things like do meditation, and the gut response is, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. But when I hear you speak, it's like meditation was a huge catalyst for all these other things that happened.
Yeah.
And how have you seen meditation impact your teacher's ability to step up, to take more initiative, to like how have you seen that correlation? Because I know the correlation, but sometimes people need to hear it from someone who's like, someone else who's doing it.
Right. Yeah. Just it's a forced pause. And it's definitely a connection with just yourself. And I think I was fearful at the beginning because, I thought in order to meditate, I'm just going to have to sit quietly and not have a single thought. I'm never going to be able to do that because, we're women and there's 200 tabs open at one time and some close and the others open really quickly. So I didn't think I could do it. And then I tried it with you. And then I started hopping onto, YouTube and trying so many different meditations. And so initially I had to do the guided meditations where the whole 5 minute was, and then it was like 5 minutes is not long enough. So then I started looking at 15 and then I went to 30. And now I've gone to some that, they do that guided for, if it's a 20-minute meditation, they'll do 10 minutes of guided and then 10 minutes of just the sound. And I can do those. Those are great. But it's just that check-in quiet time where you can still have thoughts, but you are also like, okay, let it go. That was a string. It's okay. Like we saw it, we acknowledged it, and it can go. If it still needs attention after, we'll know. So yeah, the meditation has been amazing. And I actually have had my staff do it at the beginning of our meetings. And there's a couple of members who have come back and said, I'm not doing it as often as you are, but I have found myself stopping and slowing down or needing a break and going and meditating for just 5 minutes. And it's like, that's great. Like that pause and that, right. And I'm kind of now pushing them into meditation is almost a little bit of self-care.
It is.
And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything, but you need that 5 minutes to just be with yourself for a minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tony Robbins has a really great quote. He talks about like, if you don't have 5 minutes for yourself, you don't have a life.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, when I first heard it many years ago, I was like, well, that's really extreme. But, you know, the more I really think about it, it's like, if we can't take 5 minutes to just not be doing something and be in motion, like we're not in our bodies, we're not experiencing things.
And I also wanted to say that definitely during meditation, aside from making you pause for that, it really allows you some time to reflect and practice your emotional regulation in a safe place so that later, if something comes up, you're kind of like, okay, I can, like, I've practiced this. I can do this. I don't have to react super quickly. So it gives you that time for self-reflection and self-regulation that you don't get otherwise because you're not forced to really sit and do that. So, yeah. So I wanted to add that part. And then I had to make notes today. You asked about being in the community, and there was so much to say on that. And of course, that was my biggest one. Being in the community is not just I'm in this community, snap, 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 everything's fixed, I'm all better. This community really forces you to dig deeper, look at things. It's not a checklist and a fix. It's a continual process and journey that you're going to find different things at different times, but you're not going to just offer a solution. The members aren't just going to say, oh yeah, just do this and it'll fix. Like there's a lot of conversations and putting it back on who's ever asked the question, well, what do you think? Or what have you noticed? Or keep digging. I'm not fixing this for you. I'm here to support you, but here's what I think you need to look at. So I don't think other communities offer that. So, yeah.
Let's unpack that community piece a little bit more, because I think there's two ways that sometimes people look at community. Either they look at like, I don't really need community, I have friends, or I'm afraid to be part of a community, like I'm not really a social person, like or you have another thing of like, oh, I'm part of this community, but like I don't want to brag, I don't want to post my wins, I don't want to be the weird person who keeps saying I have challenges. So right. Let's speak to all of those things, because all of those things come up. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely. You definitely have to be vulnerable in this group, and we're all in this arena together. So I feel like that makes us a little bit more unique as well, because you don't want to just, most of us don't anyway, want to go around shouting our successes and our wins. But in this group, if you've even mentioned something, someone's going to call you out and say, hey, did that work out? And when you say yes, they're like, that is a win. Celebrate yourself. Why didn't you tell us? Like, Catherine looking for her next school. I know it's been a process, and it's like, hey, I know that you met with somebody. How did that go? And she's like, oh, I forgot to tell you guys. And it's because I think we just aren't used to bragging on ourselves like that and saying, okay, whew, I got that. I want it.
Here's why we're not used to bragging on ourselves, because most women are not familiar with being in a group of people who are actually excited for your success.
Right.
They're not jealous of your success. And so this group is, when you share your win, like everyone in the group is so authentically and genuinely happy to see you win. And that is what I find so beautiful about this community, is that we are so joyful that the other person is winning.
Yes. And even when they have struggles, we feel it. The couple of people that have reached out and said, hey guys, I think I'm selling my school. I think I'm done. This isn't working. And it's like, oh, that hurts. Like it hurts you, because you know how much they've put into it. And it's kind of like, you don't want to tell them what to do, but you want to offer suggestions. And is there a way to keep your school? So just that support on both sides, but they're not going to fix it for you, but they're going to celebrate it for you, and they're going to make you dig.
Yeah.
So, love that. And then I have to see my notes again. I would say that one of the biggest things that I've gotten from the group, besides community, is how much I've grown in how I process and address and look at things at a life level. It's not just my business level, but personally, just how I've reacted and how I process things and the questions that you ask me that forces that self-reflection that sometimes is a little bit uncomfortable. And there's definitely discomfort, but it's kind of like, okay, this is uncomfortable, but I can get through this. I don't have to just shove it away in a box and let it go. I can look at this. I can address it. She didn't give me a time limit. She didn't say, figure this out on your own. Think about it. And we will, if you need help, reach out again and we'll talk again. But yeah, definitely. And then the ripple effect from that. Definitely with my family and my school and families in my school have all felt that ripple effect of how I've changed. And I almost feel like now that I've gone through some of that, my authenticity is even more authentic.
What do you mean by that?
It's a little stronger, I feel like. Like I've always had that nurturing, caring side of me, but now it just feels so much more powerful and stronger, like a brighter light almost when I give my energy to it. And so I really feel like that's been something I've noticed too. So
I think there's two things I hear from what you're saying. One is, and correct me if this is not landing right, but I feel like you're feeling like you're becoming the leader who gives from a place of generosity versus obligation.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Generosity and into kindness without being nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice sometimes is more of, again, that female where, play nice, be nice. And then you don't want to necessarily be nice. You don't want to be mean. You want to be kind, but you don't have to. Being nice, I feel like, is shoving some feelings away.
Yeah. It's people pleasing. It's over functioning. It's all the things. Let's go back to the other point that you brought up of when I invite you to think, or I ask you a disruptive question. Again, you're from small town in Colorado, running a small school. I grew up in big city, New York.
Right.
And so, we've got different energetic vibes. And so I'm curious, how have you been able to really respond to the feedback or the reflective question or those things? Because sometimes some people can take it and be like, whoa, I didn't ask for all of that. I'm going to go run away now. But you didn't run away. You stayed in the discomfort. So I would love for you to share on that, because I'm curious myself even.
Yeah, I feel like we've all been there, like regardless of where we grew up or our family situation, our spirituality, that kind of stuff. Like we've all in this together. And your light helps my light, and my light helps somebody else's light. And you didn't scare me.
Good. I'm glad we're still friends.
Scare me. There were times where it was like, oh, and I still feel it sometimes with the big schools, honestly. Where somebody has 5 centers or somebody has, 7 classrooms and 150 children at a time. That is way too much for me. And that's not where I want to be. But at the same time, I understand that. And there's still so much value in learning from the people with the big centers. And I feel like that from, sometimes they reach out to me too, and they ask questions. And so, not uncomfortable with the differences and things like that. Just wanting to learn from others. Like, I don't know everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a lot to learn, and I've learned a lot. So
I love that. What has been for you? Well, actually, let me take a different direction here for a second. You, like all humans, have had your own personal challenges, family stuff, health, all of those things. When you were navigating that season, I'd love if you're comfortable sharing, and again, we can cut out, whatever. Yeah. I'd love if you can walk us through that challenging season and what were some of your anchors during that time.
Yeah. definitely have had some. And I think, just as life, there's some more of those seasons coming. And so just knowing that I could reach out to you or reach out to the friends that I've made in our community and say, you guys, I'm really struggling right now, or I'm not ignoring you. I'm not avoiding the work that I need to do. It's just that I've put it on the side for right now. And I will be connecting again when I come back. Helped a lot because I did for a little while think, I'm too busy. I can't do this. I'm just going to let this go. I'm just going to tell Chanie that I need to step away. And I'm so glad I didn't. I'm glad I just said, let's put this on pause for a moment and then come back to it, because it's definitely an anchor and it's not just an anchor professionally. It's definitely an anchor personally now. I know you guys are there and I can reach out to you and you're going to help me. And if I break down, you're not going to be like, oh, geez, like, what are we doing with her in our group? She's not okay. Or just that support, that lift each other up. What harm is it going to do if you're kind? And understanding, some people, and I don't know why you do know, this field is very isolating. And I don't know if it's because of how many women own them and how, for whatever reason, we view each other as competition, or, but look, for the longest time, I couldn't reach out to any centers near me and ask a question because they just saw it as me being nosy or the competitor, but then in the group. And so I have quietly reached out to my community of early childhood around here, and we will speak, but not as freely as we do in here. So just that continued support and helping and excuse me. Yeah, that's probably been the best. Like, because we all have those horrible things that happen, and just reaching out and saying, you know what, I am so sorry, and I am thinking about you, and
Yeah. So, a theory that I've been kind of exploring recently, how, for those of you that are listening that are from America, some people in America have a philosophy of like isolationists, like we should just take care of ourselves. We shouldn't think about other people. We shouldn't even have a foreign policy. We shouldn't worry about, and we should kind of just like be in our own world. And I kind of feel in a lot of ways when I started to kind of explore this hypothesis, like I feel like a lot of schools sometimes adopt this philosophy of isolationism. If I just take care of myself and only the resources that I have are only used for my center and only used here, whatever it is, will be a stronger center, will be stronger. And they believe that until they can't anymore, until they realize that we must have each other. And I was listening to a podcast this morning, Investor Pro, and she said something beautiful that I never even realized because it's so baked into my culture. But I thought it was so beautiful the way she presented. She said she goes to weddings a lot of times to officiate weddings. And she says, when I'm there and all the guests are there, I was like, you're not just here to be part of the celebration. You are here to witness this couple, and now you are part of their extended community, which means if this couple needs something, you are their people now. I got chills just saying it over again. And I was like, that's exactly what it means for a new couple now to start a family. Like the people who were important enough to come to the wedding are the people that are going to witness this couple through all the chapters in their life and hold them. And so when I think about schools of excellence in the community, it's like, I want everyone in the community to witness one another and hold each other. So anyways, I just would love to hear from you, like, because I think sometimes people think community is like an extra or a privilege or when I have time or I'm too busy working in my isolationist world. I've got stuff going on. So how do you speak to that?
Gosh, definitely the community with schools of excellence, and it has trickled out. It's not just schools of excellence because we've had members come and go, but we still reach out and ask, how are you? How are things going? How is your school? I feel like they're lifelong now. Like I can't imagine not reaching out to some of my friends that I've made in this group, even if we do, move on or sell our schools and we don't
Yeah.
need this anymore. Not that we don't need it anymore, because we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that lifelong witnessing and helping and supporting and being there for them.
Yeah.
I Yeah. And it's not just, you don't just talk about schools either. Now you are in their lives, and their daughters moved on to play soccer in college, and their son is looking to graduate, and all of those things. So you learn a lot about each other, and you just have that continued support. And
Yeah.
it's, I mean, we really love each other. And there's a couple of members that I've made friends with that they've told me that I remind them of their mom.
Mm.
And so that like almost brought me to tears hearing that, because I saw them both separately when they told me that. And so that's nice as well, that their mom is not here any longer, and they said, you remind us so much of our mom. And it was like, yay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just, I mean, I'm offering them that. I don't know in what ways. They just say a lot of my personality and things that
Yeah.
they like. When we're
Yeah.
with you, we feel like our mom is with us again. Like, oh, wow, okay.
No,
I'm honored. I'm so honored
yeah,
that they said that.
right? Right. And the fact that they said it separately is also just a testament
Really, which
to
was
the
bizarre.
yeah, just to the integrity of what they were saying. Leadership in this new chapter, kind of in this new the way the landscape is shifting in early childhood and in schools in general, not just in early childhood, and really how people are looking at jobs, consumers are looking at products, or buy like where do I want to send my kid to school. There's a whole new level of sophistication or skepticism. There's a lot of other things that are going on right now in the market, and I think I'm finding a lot of leaders grappling with, how do I know what to prioritize? How do I know what to work on? How do I know which gear to turn first or second? And it can feel so overwhelming that they almost do nothing, or they just keep running their same playbook that isn't giving results. And so how have you found clarity inside of the program with what to prioritize, with how to focus, with where to focus? Because again, like I'm saying, I think a lot of leaders desire that, but they're very skeptical around, how is someone going to help me get clarity? How is someone going to help me prioritize?
Right. Gosh, definitely in the calendar is my assessment time or my accountability time, where I go back and I look again, because as we discussed, of course, with the rest of the country, we were all suffering with enrollment. And so that was my focus. Enrollment was my focus for a long time. And it's kind of, enrollment's now at a good place. So I've reassessed, yes. And we're looking at next school year. So it'll go back to a little bit of that enrollment again. But now that gear seems to be oiled well enough that I am looking at like my retention with my families, and making sure that I'm doing my parent events and supporting them.
Yes.
And because I kind of feel like I did let that go when I was focusing on enrollment. So I'm going to focus on that. And then, gosh, in January, I don't know what the new one's going to
We'll
be.
see. We'll see.
I don't
Right?
know
We
what's
can't
going to
plan so
happen.
far in advance, right?
But just looking and checking in and making sure that I'm not neglecting
Yeah.
something that definitely needs my attention at that moment, because as soon as I have that taken care of, something else may have needed attention while I was looking at the other gear. So
Yeah.
checking in
How,
all the time.
yeah. So I'm already hearing all the people that are listening to this. So how did your calendar get enrollment? So, because I hear this all the time, right? Where people are, I updated my website, I changed the voicemail, I posted on social media, I did this, and people aren't still coming in. I'm like, this is calendar. So
Yeah.
share with us, how did the calendar get you to the enrollment where you're like, it's good, I'm going to go work on something else now?
Making sure that I had all of my time set aside for marketing, all the social stuff and handing some of that off to a girl that I hired. And then also following up with my tours, which I hadn't done in the past. I mean, I would send them something that they asked for, but not the thank you letter that I now have crafted, or I send them a quick postcard in the mail that just says, thank you for touring with us. We're so excited to have you with our family, that kind of stuff. So making sure that I did that, or checking in with families that had toured, but I hadn't heard from, just to hear, were we not what you were looking for? Was it ours? Just hearing that communication. And yeah, so just making sure that that's on my calendar and giving it the adequate time to make sure.
Yeah. I love that you're sharing this, right? And these are just a couple of things that, Amy did, right? So it's one of the things that we teach in the program is enrollment-based activities. So like, what are the activities that drive the enrollment? And you just shared a couple, but the magic is it making sure that it's in the calendar and making sure that it's prioritized in that way. So I love that. And now you get to go work on some long-term gains, which is parent retention and some other factors inside of the center. So I have two last questions for you here. One is, what was the thing that most surprised you since being in the program? We all have like our expectations of what the program's going to be about. And then there's these things that surprise us.
I'm not sure surprise is the correct word, but gratitude is what I'm going to say. Because like I said, when I first joined, I don't think I was ready for all that you were truly offering me. Like, it was this huge buffet and I went in like, oh gosh, I don't know. I think I'm just going to go have a salad right now. And I just took that portion and I stayed on the calls and I stayed with the program. And a couple of times it was like, what am I doing? And then finally it was like, okay, Chanie has been there patiently waiting because she knew it was coming. And then now I'm ready. And it's like, oh gosh, now I'm going back for second and thirds and I'm grabbing, soup and bread and all of it. And just the patience and the time for me to catch up to what I actually needed is, I think, what I would say about that. So yeah, just gratitude, not necessarily surprise, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. And my last question is for someone who, stayed till the end of the conversation and listened until now and is kind of resonating with a little bit of your story, maybe has a small school, maybe has been through similar things, or also needs to work on enrollment. What's your message to the leader that's listening?
Find support, find your community, reach out. You're really not going to be able to do this alone without wearing yourself down or burning yourself out. So yeah, and sometimes it's overwhelming, and sometimes you're meeting people that have the 150 kids, but they still understand your challenges. It's not, you don't have unique challenges. We've all somehow faced it and dealt with it. So reach out, find your people, whoever they are, that they're going to help you.
Yeah.
This, because
sorry, go ahead.
No, you're going to find so much more personal success and contentment with that group than you are trying to do it on your own. So
yeah, and just to piggyback on what you were saying, like, sometimes it could be overwhelming when you see people that have bigger schools or bigger or whatever it is, but the bottom line is no one's a special snowflake, and most of the schools have similar challenge. I had a conversation with someone a while ago and she's like, do you work with any schools in our zip code? It's like, I'm not a zip code specific kind of coaching company. Like, we work with schools all over the world. It's the frameworks aren't zip code specific. They work with people everywhere. So yeah, just to kind of close that chapter. Amy, it has been a real honor just to witness your journey and get to know you better as a person, but just the arc of your story and watching you like carefully waiting in the waiting pool and then slowly building that level of confidence and self-trust and the desire to reach out and to connect and being persistent, like all of these things have not only impacted you personally, but they've raised the quality of life to the people that are lucky to be in your circle. So I'm grateful to know you, and thanks for being part of the community.
yeah, thank you, Chanie.
If you are loving the Schools of Excellence podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your school, I would love if you can do two things for me. One, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And two, can you please leave us a review? Reviews help other school leaders know that this is the place to learn how to build a school of excellence. And I would be so grateful if you can do that for us. Your help and support makes this show to be able to be listened by the thousands of other school leaders all around the world. Thanks so much for listening, for giving us your time and attention each and every week, and I appreciate that you have joined us.
If your accountant has ever told you to cut back on professional development or slash your teacher appreciation budget or your staff development budget just so you could stay afloat, or has told you, hey, you probably can't go invest in that program, please listen. The problem is not that you're spending too much money on your people or yourself or your investment or your support system. It's that your school has invisible money leaks that are draining your profit, leaks that no spreadsheet will ever catch or accountant. So I created the 6 money leaks of schools that show you the 6 core areas that schools lose money every single month without realizing it. If you close even one of them, your profits will start to soar without sacrificing your team. Go get it now and stop blaming the things that are actually building your school.